Okay, hello internet and other humans. This is a tutorial on how to create live drum sequences without using Ableton Push or anything else kind of fancy. I'm going to be using this MIDI controller here, which is frankly garbage. I've had it a long time. I've had it about 10, 12 years, something like that. It's constantly popping out values here. Never really wants to sit still, this thing. Actually, it's showing me up right now. It's playing nice. That's good. Yeah, but it's old, but that's not going to stop us kind of doing what we want with it. So, inside of the live session, I have two things. I have a drum rack that I've quickly gone and kind of manipulated some of the sounds, but haven't put too much thought into it. Doesn't really matter for the purposes of this. And I have a chord pad thing that is going to act as our accompaniment. So the idea behind this technique is to be able to, instead of creating MIDI clips and drawing our patterns in, it is instead to play those in live using the MIDI keyboard that we've got here. And it takes a few steps to get there, but it allows us to build things up piece by piece. It's actually a really cool performance technique, so you can use this during production or performance. So let's get to it. So what I'm going to do inside of live is I'm going to do a few things to kind of set us up on the right path here. First thing I'm going to do is to create an empty MIDI clip inside of session view on the drum track. Double click inside of a grid slot, and then I'm going to change the loop length to the amount of time I want to play for. And in this case, I'm going to make it 4 bars. So right down in the left-hand corner of the clip view, we've got a length option here. I'm going to select the 1, bars, beats, and units. I'm going to type 4 and hit enter, and that now creates a 4-bar empty MIDI clip. And this is what we're going to be playing into. Okay. So there's a few more steps. Now obviously we're going to be playing kind of with no rhythmic material already in there, so it's going to be a good idea to have the metronome on, at least for the first few passes. So I'm going to hover up here, click to enable the metronome, and I'm also going to make sure that I've got a 1-bar count in as well, just so I've got a count of 4 before I start playing. I might not even start playing immediately, but it's cool to have it on anyway. Select it. Awesome. Now obviously the track needs to be record armed in order for us to be able to play the drum rack using an external controller or the QWERTY keyboard. So record arm the track. Now the next thing, I could just dive in and start recording, but I want to show you guys, pardon me, I want to show you guys something that may or may not help you. Inside of the edit tab up here, the edit menu, if we go down to record quantization, we can actually set a value that we want the notes to be snapped to once we've input them with the MIDI controller. If it's got no quantization, and let's just do this real quick. Okay, I'll go back over this. Bear with. Okay, now I played pretty tight there, but if we were to zoom in, we can see that this note is not quite on the grid, and obviously quantization helps to snap those notes to the grid. What I'm trying to say is, if you want the drum, if you want it to record things quantized and snap to the grid, then go into your edit menu, go to record quantization, and change this to a value that you're happy with. I'm going to change mine to 16th notes for the purpose of this demo. Let's select it. Okay. We're nearly there. The last thing we need to do is to, and I'm going to stop this clip, we're going to enable this record arm button up here. This is called session record, and this will allow you to record in Eclipse. It's very, very different to recording into arrangement view, and it's going to allow us to build up our drum pattern piece by piece. So with that active and our track record armed, when we press play on this clip, it's going to give us our count in, and you're going to notice that the play icon on the clip is actually red and not green. See, this one is green. When things are playing, they're always green. But if I press play on this, it's going to be red, meaning that it is armed to record into the clip. Okay, so let's just do it. Let's go. I'm going to get a count of 4, 2, 3, and... and then I can just let go. because we've already set a loop length inside of Live, it's just going to loop that over and over again at me. And I've already got my kick drum part in. Now I might want to experiment a little bit and practice with what I'm going to put in next. If I just start hitting keys right now, it's going to record it in, right? But maybe, and I'm just going to delete those, maybe I want to practice before I actually start doing that. So the only thing I'm going to do here is turn off session record up here. Notice that the play icon is now green. The track's still record armed, so I can still play. But it's not recording it in. As soon as I'm ready to actually record it into the clip, hit session record. And then again, I can let go of the keyboard. Once I've done my pass, I can just let go. The notes are input, they're in there. You might need to wiggle them around a little bit if you want to. Select them, use your arrow keys. Well, I'm happy with where they are. I'm going to practice my next bit, so I'm going to turn session record off, find what I want to play. Hi-hats. Not terribly exciting, but whatever. As soon as I'm ready to do it, I'm going to hit record. Wow, really messed that up. Whatever though. So see how even though I messed that up pretty badly when I was playing it in Live, because I've got that record quantization on, it snapped it to a point in the grid that actually sounds fine. So yeah, it doesn't sound all that bad. And I've got all this, if you look at the velocity lanes as well, I've got all this kind of humanistic velocity, because obviously the harder I press something, the louder it plays, and the quieter I press it, the softer it plays. So you get this kind of humanistic vibe, which is really what we're after when we're doing this sort of thing. I can turn the metronome off at this point. Okay, cool, let's try putting 2 bits in at once, just to be brave. As soon as I'm ready, I'm going to hit the session record button. Man, those open hi-hats are real quiet, right? I'm going to jump in and change that. Okay, I turned them down here. That's it. We can keep building that beat up bit by bit, remembering to turn session record off if we just want to mess around and practice, and then back on as soon as we're ready to record into the clip. So that's it. Hope it helps. The idea is to kind of bring some humanistic element to it with human error and mistakes. We are snapping those to a grid in this example, but yeah, we've still got something more human than we would maybe if we'd have programmed this in. Okay, cool, that's it for this demo, so peace, 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 signing out.